in few seconds, I think.
Ya puedes empezar a hablar.
Ok, hello. Hola amigos del Centro de Educación Artística Yatsari. Hoy estoy muy feliz de recibir en nuestro canal de YouTube a HANNE DENEIRE. ¡Bravo! Welcome HANNE in my
Hello.
YouTube channel. Is the YouTube for my music school, art schools. I am so happy and congratulations for your amazing job. Ok,
You too, Anna.
estoy dándole la bienvenida a Hanne. Yo voy a ir traduciendo al español lo que ella nos vaya a contar acerca de un método muy interesante de composición musical que se llama Children Are Composers. Este método yo lo conocí el año pasado, que siempre me ha gustado estar a la vanguardia de la educación musical y fue muy grato encontrarme con amigos mexicanos como Juan Carlos Bonifaz, que está trabajando con Hanne en Bélgica. Y bueno, hoy vamos a platicar con Hanne y voy a empezar haciendo algunas preguntas. Are you ready, Hanne, for the questions?
Yes, I am. I understand a little bit of the English, but it's better. I will speak in English and you translate into Spanish. That's better idea. Hello,
Yes.
everybody. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Anna, for the invitation, and welcome to all the parents who have children and wants to be inspired by music.
Ok, Hanne dice que gracias por la invitación y que está muy contenta de compartir su información con los padres de familia de Yatsari y de México y todos los que hablan español. Ok, vamos a empezar con la primera pregunta. The first question, Hanne. Tell us about your musical training. At what age did you start?
That was a good beginning as a question because I never stand still with it anymore. I'm now 40 years old, so it has been a long time. But music was my passion since I'm like born, I think. Since I'm like 2, 3, 4 years old, music fascinated me. It fascinated me also more than words, than the spoken language like Spanish or English. I liked musical, abstract, universal language. But I come from a family where music was not allowed. And so I only could do dancing because my mother was okay with the dancing. So I followed, since I was 4, classical dance with a piano that was playing during our classes. And that was very special because I was dancing, but I was always looking at this piano because that's what I wanted to do. And then, I visited my aunt from time to time, and she had like a private piano teacher. And if I was there at the moment that the teacher was by coincidence also there, he taught me also some songs. But that's really how it started, through the dancing. So the action, the movement that I was doing on the music, the listening and let the music inside my body, and then make and create something of that sound. And then only I asked my mother a lot of times to start with music. And so after a while, she agreed. I think I was 10 or 11 years old that I had my first real music class. Okay. It was classical solfège, where you learn the notes. Mm-hmm. And then there was, I wanted to play the drums. But yeah, I'm a girl. She didn't like the noise. So they gave me a saxophone. And I was 11 years old. I was a bit older than was regular for starting music. And my mother said, she said, okay, now you're doing music. You go to music school, but don't practice too long. It makes too much noise. So there I was with my saxophone. She liked the dancing more, so I was dancing a lot. But yeah, maybe I think 5 minutes I could practice. I wanted to practice more, but she didn't allow it. So then when I was 12, I moved out of the house. I went to live with my father, and he said, I heard you want to do music, so start. And then at the age of 12, what is really, really late, But of course, I had already the formation of the dance and the rhythm and the tempi and everything. I learned it from something else. But at the age of 12, I started very seriously with music.
Okay.
Then there was no saxophone to hire, so they gave me a clarinet in my hands. I switched instruments, but I had an amazing good teacher, and I also started piano, and my father let me play every instrument that I wanted, as much as I wanted. He said, just do it on yourself. I will not drive you to schools or anything. If you arrange it with the bus, you can do that. So that was, 12 years old was only the real start of my musical education part. So very, very late. And that makes that when I was 16 years old, I said, I want to teach music in a different way and at the youngest age possible. The moment that I already heard the first sounds, dreamed of it. So that's why we start from birth, Anna?
Ok, I translate. Ok, Hanne nos cuenta que cuando ella era pequeña, su mamá le gustaba un poco más que aprendiera a bailar, pero ella observaba más que el baile, también observaba mucho el piano y ella podía sentir cómo toda la música del piano podía entrar en su ser y que ella lo podía sentir y expresar mejor. Entonces le fue pidiendo a su mamá que la llevara a clases de música. Empezó con los tambores, pero era como muy ruidoso para su mamá, cosa que pasa muy seguido, ¿no? Con las mamás. Entonces escogió el saxofón por ahí de los 11, 12 años. A los 13, 14 años comenzó su educación ya formal con la música y bueno, su mamá sentía que aún así el saxofón sonaba muy fuerte, entonces ella estudiaba solo por algún periodo de tiempo para no molestar mucho, ¿no? Pero también su papá le apoyó mucho y finalmente ambos la han apoyado mucho para que ella fuera músico y por eso ella piensa que es importante que los niños empiecen pequeños a estudiar música porque es una excelente oportunidad para que ellos descubran estas sensaciones y piensa que ella empezó un poco más tarde, un poco ya mayor y esa es un poco de su historia con la música. Okay, thank you, Hanne. I start the other question for you. How did you decide to be a musician and why?
So I finally, after a big fight, I got to start with music at 12. By the age of 13, I took a sprint, very fast. I loved the music so much. Also, I had to wait a long time before I could start, but I was so happy. It was, finally I could be who I had to be, do what I had to do. It felt like a natural being, music, the language, the playing, the writing, the composing started immediately. I wrote the first sketches of an opera when I was 13 years old. So it was really inside of me that it could come out. I hope everybody can find that passion and drive and mission inside yourself. My parents were not musicians and they even didn't like classical music. So that's why it was such a fight to start. But once I started, I felt the magic of music and also the magic of music that connected me with myself and with the whole world. I felt it immediately. It's like music is a universal language for all of us. And so I was 13 and I had this full idea. I want a house of music where musicians meet, children meet from a young age, where we can give performances, where I write the music, where we develop and grow as human beings through the music. So by the age of 16, my whole plan was written down. So yeah, it started at 13 years old that I felt music is my language, is a universal language to make a change in the world also.
Okay, thank you. I translate. Ok, Hanne nos platica que cuando ella tenía 13 años es que sintió esa mágica conexión con el lenguaje musical y que ella entendió que este lenguaje musical era para todos los humanos, que era un lenguaje universal, ¿no? Entonces ella sintió esta conexión mágica a esta edad, a los 13 años, y entonces a ella ahora le gusta que las personas desde temprana edad entren en este universo mágico de expresarse a través de la música. Thank you, Hanne. How did you find your vocation as a music teacher?
That is a nice story. So I come from a family that had no music. My parents could not afford an instrument, like buy an instrument for me. So I had to rent the instrument from the academy. And then, yeah, after a while, if you decide to be a professional, yeah, you have to have a good instrument. And so I had to earn money. And by the age of 16, I decided that I wanted to give piano lessons and music classes because I liked it. And I just said, like, my first and only advertisement in a supermarket. It's a long time ago. It's 24 years ago now. But I put it in the supermarket and I said, I am 16 years old. I want to teach your child. And it was like a babysitters club, but a music club, you know. And so there was a mother who came with her son. The boy was 8 years old, and he already played a little bit piano, but he was suicidal and depressive. But he was highly gifted, so he could understand a lot, but he didn't feel good. So the mother said, probably because I was 16 and not thinking in the way that a teacher already thinks, she said, okay, this is my son. Can you try to get him into the music again, some joy, some fun to express himself, that he wants to live again, because he was 8 years old, not going to school anymore. He was doing nothing. So he came twice a week to my house. I was still living at home, so in my bedroom, teaching piano. And it was amazing. This boy and these lessons changed my life, because I saw in 3 weeks so much progression in this child, and also in myself, of course, because I never saw a boy of 8 years old in such a depression, and then challenging him at just the right level, playing with him, improvising, and doing everything what we do, Anna, in our schools. It was already that methodology, not worked out in detail like we do now, but it was the first lessons were already like that. And he was treated in a special center in the Netherlands, and the psychiatrist and the psychologist looked at the boy and they said, "What's happening? What are you doing with this music? You know, what is going on?" So it was good for me to have some analysis on what I was doing and some effect. And so by the age of 19, I had my first professional job at the University of Antwerp, and I worked with only highly gifted children and music. Okay. So it was a combination, teaching them music and making their well-being and the joy and the collaboration between the children and everything better. And that was what I did for 4 years, very intensely, with psychologists next to me, social workers. Everybody was looking like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And that was, I felt really useful also. I felt it was I had to do this because I love music and I shared my passion, and I had a good educational system to teach them, not like a teacher, but more like an artist. Like I was creative together with him. I was collaborating, and I let the children collaborate, and it made me happy. It gave me joy. It gave me a lot of fulfillment. And that is how my whole educational, my teaching started. So it was with this boy of 8 years old suicidal, highly gifted child that changed my life, and he made me do what we do now.
Ok, thank you, Hanne. Ella nos platica que cuando ya ella quería ser profesional de la música, anteriormente ella había ocupado los instrumentos de su escuela para estudiar, para practicar. No tenía un instrumento propio, entonces a la edad de 16 años, cuando ella ya quiere decidir ser profesional como músico, empieza a preguntarse qué puedo hacer para ganar dinero y comprar mi propio instrumento. Entonces en el supermercado puso anuncios de que tengo 16 años y quiero enseñarle música a tus hijos, ¿no? Puedo enseñar piano. Y una mamá se acercó con ella y le empezó a llevar a su hijo de 8 años a clases de piano, y ella le daba lecciones en su recámara de piano, y así empezó su historia como maestra de música por una necesidad económica, ¿no? Pero que estas clases con este niño cambió su forma de vida y de pensar acerca de cómo enseñar la música, y después a los 19 años empezó un trabajo formal en su universidad, y ella estaba haciendo que los niños colaboraran, no solo que recibieran el conocimiento de la música de una manera muy formal, sino que también ellos pudieran expresar sus ideas a través de las composiciones, y se unieron a este lindo trabajo varios colaboradores, psicólogos, profesionistas, que empezaron a observar cómo los niños eran felices en sus clases, porque ella les enseñaba no solo la teoría del lenguaje musical, sino cómo que los niños se pudieran expresar con este lenguaje musical a través de su propia música. Y esto fue bastante interesante y fue algo que ella sintió. Sus papás no son músicos, los papás de Hanne no son músicos. Ellos no podían como comprar el instrumento, pero esta fue la historia en que se acercó a ser maestra de música, y para mí es un asombroso trabajo que ella ha realizado. For me, it's a really amazing work. Your work with Hanne. Okay, the next question for you. What were the reasons why you created the Children Are Composers method?
Why? I think you heard it already a little bit in the story that I told. I was never a regular teacher, and I will never be a regular teacher. Like you are not a regular teacher. You are an artist that shares passion, insight, skills, and you want to change the world. You want to make it a better place. So I don't believe in the traditional systems then. I believe in a combination of things. And Children Are Composers is the name that I gave to the methodology because I want children to give them the opportunity to learn a language where they can be themselves. Like I had to wait a very long time to play music and learn music. But the moment that I did it, I felt like, okay, I can be who I am through the music. I can tell my story. So the children can compose and be composers and create their story, create their life. And they have an experience how it feels to be yourself and to choose what you want to make of life or make of your piece of music. So I think it's a very important experience. Not that every child who does Children Are Composers have to be a composer or a musician, but they will translate it, the power and the strength that they get from doing the music, like the persistence goes up, the brain collaboration between the two sides, it accelerates if you do music. So all these positive things that you get out of learning music will help them in their life to grow and be who they want to be.
Okay, thank you, it's amazing. Hanne nos platica que para ella, más que ser solo un músico, es llegar a ser un artista completo. Entonces ella piensa que es muy importante tanto una forma tradicional de enseñanza de la música como una forma en la que los niños puedan llegar a ser sí mismos y expresarse a través de la música, cómo ellos pueden conocer todo este lenguaje de una manera formal, o sea, aprendiendo realmente música, valores rítmicos, notas, combinaciones entre las notas, instrumentos musicales, rangos de los instrumentos musicales, es decir, registros de qué nota a qué nota llegan, toda esta formalidad, pero a través de cómo los niños pueden percibir el mundo, y es formar un artista, un músico artista, no solo un ejecutante que pueda tocar el instrumento maravillosamente, sino un artista que pueda expresar con su música la forma en que ellos ven la vida. En lo personal, para mí esto es algo mágico, es algo maravilloso, porque realmente los niños, cuando conocen de la música de una manera lúdica, con una metodología adecuada a su edad, ellos se enamoran de la música. Y ahora y de ir más allá formando artistas es, bueno, conoces la música, ahora expresa tus emociones a través de la música y siéntete muy feliz por hacerlo, ¿no? Es como que ellos empiecen a tener una muy buena alta autoestima con su propia creación, y eso es muy importante en su desarrollo. Y eso es lo que nos cuenta Hanne, que este método de Children Art Composers es un método que ha podido unir estos dos mundos y crear nuevos artistas. Congratulations, Hanne. It's a
Thank you,
really
Anna.
good job.
And there is also one big difference, you know, that everywhere in the world, like mostly children only start to play music when they are 6, 7, and most of the time 8 years old. So that's the age that people start all over the world with learning music. And I think it's very important to start earlier. So we start with the instruments at 4 years old. With your group classes, Anna, you will also start at 4 years old. The children write the music. They will learn all the parameters and all the building blocks of music. And so it doesn't matter if you already know what instrument you want to play. Children are composers is everything besides the technical part of the instrument. It's the whole vision of you learn the language of music, you express yourself like you just said, and start at an early age and in a creative and playful way.
Okay.
Probably I was already 12, so I was doing it very seriously. But children, young children, they don't want to learn something. They would like to play something. They would like to discover something. And discovering and playing is equal to learning. So if you are teaching small children, you need to be playful and creative in to give them the joy and the best experience.
Yes, okay, I agree. Hanne nos dice que ella piensa que es muy bueno que los niños comiencen su formación musical a edades tempranas, como a los 4 años de edad, que ellos van a hacer las dos cosas, un descubrimiento sonoro y un aprendizaje de cómo tocar el instrumento que a ellos les llama la atención. Pero la combinación de estas dos cosas o la suma de estas dos cosas va a ser igual a un aprendizaje, a un conocimiento de por vida, aunque los niños no vayan a ser ejecutantes musicales o músicos profesionales. Va a ser muy importante que tengan esta formación en sus vidas de haber entendido un lenguaje universal con que se pueden comunicar con todo el mundo y aparte haber disfrutado el proceso de este aprendizaje, lo cual es maravilloso. Okay, Hanne, thank you. The next question for you. How long have you been working with the Children Art Composers method?
24 years now.
24, okay.
Yes, of course, in the beginning, the name was not Children Are Composers. I was very young. I was doing these musical games. I was combining music theory, music analysis, music playing, music improvisation, composition, everything from the beginning that was in one class. So that is what Children Are Composers is. And of course, first my student was 8 years old, but my next student, I think a half year later, was already 5 years old. And I saw, 5 years old. They like to learn like that. So it's 24 years now, and it is proven to work with a lot of different kind of children. And that is important, I think, for the listener and for our audience. The first audience we were working with and the first children were highly gifted and a little bit depressive, a lot. So, but then parents came to me and said, "You're doing this with these highly gifted children. Can you not do that with my boy who has ADHD or ADD?" And then the mother said, "It's my child has autism. Can you not do something with children with autism?" So in the first 10 years already, I tried this methodology and this way of working out with so many different kinds of children. So children who were not, didn't work as well in school, and suddenly with us, they learned very fast. Or the opposite, or children with concentration disorders, difficulties. They also came to us, and it was fun because they had no difficulty anymore. When you do it in a playful and creative way and you follow the tempo of the child, and that is what Children Are Composers is, the child decides how fast they go, how they want to accelerate in the processes of learning. So that is so nice that it is on the child, and it works for very different children. So that is, I think that was beautiful for me as a composer and founder to know, okay, this is not only for the smart kids, it's also for the regular kids who we want to help, or even for children who can not go to a regular school and who would never go to a music school, like a regular music school from the government or something. They could never follow there, but with the Children Are Composers program, they can be themselves again, and they can create also their story. Maybe they go a little bit slower, but that's not what it is about. It's giving them a language to express and to become very self-confident and have a positive self-image.
Ok, yes. Bueno, ella nos platica que tiene 24 años de que comenzó este descubrimiento de cómo enseñar a los niños a través del lenguaje musical y de cómo los niños podían expresarse por medio de la música, y que bueno, a lo largo de este tiempo ha trabajado con distintos tipos pues de niños con características muy peculiares cada uno. Algunos pues no podían concentrarse, otros son muy rápidos, muy inteligentes, pero que ha logrado que los padres de familia entiendan que cada uno de los niños lleva un proceso especial, porque cada niño es especial, y que esto les ayuda a todo lo que ellos están necesitando. Y eso es muy bonito, porque entonces este método de Children Are Composers se puede personalizar a las necesidades de cada niño, y esto les puede ayudar mucho para toda su vida. Y entonces vamos ahora con otra pregunta. The next questions. In which countries in the world is this method being used?
At the moment, in your country, Mexico,
Yes.
And we are in Belgium, in the Netherlands, in Croatia, in Jordan, in Suriname, and yeah, that's it. Huh? Yeah, I didn't forget any country. So it's already in a lot of countries. I think in total, like 2,500 kids are now in our programs, sometimes online, sometimes offline. It depends on the situation, especially now with the lockdowns everywhere. But there are 2,500 children growing through music with our Children Are Composers program. So I hope in Mexico that a lot of parents will inscribe for your program, Anna, because you are our ambassador there. And maybe that's interesting for the listener. Our ambassadors, they follow a very heavy and intense program to learn the methodology. So they are already professional musicians, mostly good teachers. And then they specialize in this methodology to train younger children and in a more creative and playful way. So as a parent, it's you are guaranteed for good music classes. And that is so important, especially for the first years that your child is in contact with music. If the teacher is not good, you can forget it. There is a big chance that your child will not love music. And it's not about the music, it's about how they teach. And so it's so fantastic to collaborate with musicians like you, Anna, who are so professional, but also so creative. And you can be 100% sure that you share this passion with the children. So if you want to have the first and best contact with music, yeah, then you have to be with you in Mexico, eh?
Yes. Ok, bueno, el método de Children Art Composers se está usando en varias partes del mundo, está empezando aquí en México, en nuestra escuela, Centro de Educación Artística Yatsari, de la cual tengo el gusto de estar a cargo como embajadora del método de Children Art Composers. Está en Holanda, está en Bélgica, está en Kenia y se están añadiendo nuevos músicos profesionales. Y ella habla de algo muy importante, que es enseñar la forma en que tú le muestres al niño, en la forma en que tú como profesional de la música y como maestro de música le haces al niño esta iniciación a la música es muy importante. Porque a veces los niños pequeños se encuentran con un maestro que no ha podido enseñarles correctamente o a la manera que ellos entienden la vida y entonces se decepcionan de la música y no era problema de la música, era el problema de la manera en que estás enseñándole música. Entonces ella busca que las personas que entren al método pues sean personas profesionales en la música con una trayectoria como maestros de música, que les guste ser creativos, o sea, que tengan una mente abierta a la creatividad, sensible a la creatividad, para que de esta manera puedan tratar correctamente a los niños, lo cual es muy importante a las edades tempranas. Y bueno, que ella espera que muchos padres de familia en México se interesen en este programa que estamos llevando aquí en nuestra escuela Yatsari, porque es garantía de que van a tener una iniciación musical adecuada, ya que el entrenamiento que se tuvo que llevar fue pues intenso, ¿no? Porque no basta solo ser músico, ser buen maestro, sino ahora integrar las ideas del método en tu forma de enseñar la música, y eso, bueno, en mi caso me tomó un año de aprenderlo y de sentirme segura en esta nueva metodología. Thank you, Hanne. And the next question, how was the experience for you translating your teaching method, book, and songs into Spanish?
Very interesting. Because as you know, I didn't speak any Spanish. But luckily in our House of Music team in Antwerp, in Belgium, we have 2 native Spanish speakers. And one is, yeah, you know both of them. It was a coincidence. Eh? That's so fascinating that we have a team with a musician, and Mexico is big. So, and then we started to translate, and I told him for who it was, and it seems that you in Mexico knew already from a long time ago, I think 30 years ago or something, 25, you know this musician. And so it was like the circle in the world was around between Mexico and Belgium. And it was a lot of work to translate, really, because we have our own language. Like, we teach the children at a very young age already music theory, but we have different words that we use. We don't use the difficult theory language. So we use, for example, the sun and the moon for the third. But we had to translate it in the best way, in the best children's sound way, so that their imagination was triggered, as we do in Dutch and in English. And if you don't know the language, you really need to discuss with a native speaker, like, which word is the best word. And that was not only about the intervals, it was the whole language, that how we speak to the children, it's like a very positive, constructive language. We never say that's wrong, or don't play that, or did you hear the mistake? We will say, oh, I heard something strange. What did you hear? Is that written on the paper? It seems that I see something different. And so all these little details that make the difference between our classes and somebody else's classes, and the difference that you will make, Anna, in your classes, that difference, these little words and the right translation, that was really challenging, and it took us a year to translate. So the books, and then there is the challenge of the songs. So translating a song, you have a rhythm, you have a melody, and of course the Spanish word is never the same amount of of parts than the Dutch one or the English one. So that was really, really fun to do. I did that together with Juan Carlos, and then we always checked out with you, Anna. We sung, we spoke, and we saw, okay, is this natural to do? And we also collaborated with the school. It's like university kind of school. It was an expert class. So they had one subject the whole year, I think 4 or 5 hours a week. And the task in that class for that year, that was like not last year, but the year before, the whole year, the students worked in groups, and they had Spanish as a subject, and they translated the book, different parts of the book, in their groups as an export product in the university. So we also got a lot of help from them, of course. And it was nice to share like business knowledge, translation, insights, musical passion. There were a lot of people involved and inspired that way.
Ok, thank you. Bueno, fue toda una aventura para ella hacer la traducción de su libro, su metodología y sus canciones a español. Porque pues en las canciones, por ejemplo, hay una melodía, hay un ritmo, y como estaban hechas en otro idioma, en el idioma que se habla en Bélgica, pues ahí rimaba, ¿no? Entonces ahora encontrar las palabras adecuadas que lo puedan entender los niños pequeños, por ejemplo aquí en México que estamos hablando español y que se está introduciendo este método, fue todo una aventura, ¿no? Y ayudó mucho que tiene en su escuela de música, que se llama House of Music en Bélgica, 2 maestros que son nativos mexicanos, ¿no? Entonces ellos ayudaron un poco con la traducción de la letra de las canciones, de los libros, pero también en la universidad de su ciudad, ella llevó el libro y los grupos de estudiantes que tienen de materia el español, estuvieron ayudando con la traducción del libro. También de alguna manera, en mi caso, yo como maestra ahora de este método, revisé el libro también para dar algunas sugerencias, y todo este gran trabajo en equipo ha sido para que los niños que hablan español puedan integrarse y entender muy bien las actividades de su libro, las canciones, y puedan divertirse y aprender música de una manera genial y divertida. Okay, thank you, Hanne. The next question is, why do you recommend that parents enroll their children in the Children Are Composers course in Spanish?
If you want to let your child grow, and every parent wants that, every parent wants the best for the children and give them some activities that stimulate them, that motivate them, and let the children grow up to a successful and happy person. So if you want that, music is the first thing you have to give your child. But then it's very important, like I said, where do you follow this music, and how are you going to follow these music classes, especially the first ones, because that will make the change if your child continues with music or not. It will also be so crucial what instrument your child will play. So if you follow Children Are Composers with Anna, you don't have to choose an instrument. So you will only, you will see the whole language of music, the first notes, the rhythm. They will explore the world of music. So, and then every adventure that you follow with Anna, you will see an instrument. You will discover one. And after the first year, your child will say, okay, I want to do this or that. And it is so important, I think, for children to have first to discover what is music. What can you do with it? How does it work? And what instruments are there in the orchestra and in life? Because they don't know. Mostly they see only the instrument that maybe the parent plays, or on a YouTube film they have seen something, but it's mostly like a piano, a guitar, and a violin. That's what they know, but more they don't know. And Anna, in the Children Are Composers program, will introduce all the instruments. And on the way of discovering the instruments, they will see that this language that a lot of people say, oh, it's so complicated. Music is so difficult. Music is not difficult. You just have to get a good method to learn it, that it is not difficult, but easy and playful. So Anna will learn all these difficult things in a very playful and joyful way. And that makes that your child will have the first contact with music will be magical. So they will want more. And that's what you want as a parent, to the first contact, stimulate them and get them to take the next step, that they experience joy and that they are curious to know more about it. And that's why I think every child between 4 and 6 years old should be in your class, Anna, in Mexico, or in the Spanish online classes of you. Because you see, we also teach online, it's in English, but it's so, they are young, these children. If you are 4 or 5 years old, you need to learn this in your mother language. Because the little jokes, the little associations that we make during the class, Anna will make them and say funny things that you can only do in English, in Spanish then. So that is important. And that's why you take the chance. That's what I have to say about it. Like, give your child the opportunity to grow through the music and to open the doors of the music.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Bueno, Hanna nos platica que todos los papás en el mundo quieren lo mejor para sus hijos. Y esta formación con este método de Children Are Composers es una gran oportunidad para que los niños tengan un descubrimiento mágico con la música, y que ellos, además de aprenderlo en su lengua nativa, que es el español, lo van a hacer de una manera muy lúdica, muy didáctica, y van a conocer formalmente lo que es análisis de la música, entrenamiento auditivo, muchas cosas que son formales en el estudio de la música, pero de una manera muy divertida, muy amena, y que ellos lo van a poder entender. Entonces, en este programa en el que yo como profesora estoy ya capacitada, va a ser una gran inversión para los papás y algo muy productivo para los niños, porque van a conocer todos los instrumentos de la orquesta, todas las figuras rítmicas, cómo hacer una composición por sí mismos, y va a ser como el primer peldaño o el primer escalón de su entrenamiento como músicos, y a partir de esta experiencia será que tanto padres como niños van a decidir seguir en el camino de la música, y que puede ser asombroso, ¿no? Además de que les dejará grandes conocimientos y van a desarrollar muy buenas habilidades para sí mismos, ¿no? En el futuro. Entonces, por eso ella recomienda a los papás que los niños puedan aprender este método en su lengua materna, o sea, en español, aquí en Centro de Educación Artística Yatzari conmigo. Okay, and the last question. You can dedicate a few words to Mexico as a country that initiates this method, please?
I wish I could speak Spanish now. No, I am so happy and grateful that Mexico has Anna in the country to teach the children and to inspire the children. So that is the most important for your country, I think, and not only in Mexico, but everywhere in the world. At the moment, we are in a crisis. everywhere. So what is important in a crisis is to see some light, to see some positive things. I think this is the moment, and it's always the moment, but this is an exceptional and a crucial moment to take and to let your child and yourself as a parent, because you can enjoy together with your child. When you see your child love something, you as a parent also are happy. So enjoy and take the chance now to have all these children are composers classes in Spanish with Anna. It's a gift. It's really a gift from Mexico, and I am also very grateful, Anna, to collaborate with you as our ambassador in for the Spanish-speaking people. There are even Belgian people who are native Spanish speakers who will follow your classes. So it is fantastic the way you are doing all of this, that you are sharing your passion and changing the lives of all these children and families. So especially in these times, take the joyful chances that you get in life. Don't wait after crisis. There will always be an excuse. So it is especially now, so it will make you happy. It will give you some collaboration in the family to discuss about. You will discover things. And even, I can tell you, even if you are a musician, as a parent, even if you are a musician, you will learn things from this program with your child, because it is so different, the way of teaching and the way of thinking, that it is a discovery for every Mexican parent and child.
Ok, thank you, Hanne. Hanne dice que está muy contenta y agradecida de que su método Children Are Composers haya llegado en México y de colaborar conmigo como embajadora ahora de este programa aquí en Jalapa, que pueden ser presenciales las clases o ya sea en línea a toda nuestra hermosa República Mexicana. Y que bueno, esto es una gran oportunidad, sobre todo en estos tiempos en que la pandemia pues ha estado presente en todo el mundo, pero que es una oportunidad para que los niños conozcan la música junto con sus familias, y no es necesario que los papás sean músicos, sino que se den la oportunidad de descubrir este mágico lenguaje musical que es universal, y que puedan tener esta aventura de descubrirlo, y sobre todo ahora en su lengua materna, que será el español, y que pues es algo muy bonito en la vida. Ella estuvo en México hace ya más de 2 décadas, pero es muy bueno que ahora con la tecnología podemos unirnos para trabajar juntos y trabajar a favor de la infancia. Y bueno, para finalizar, yo los quiero invitar a las clases muestra gratuitas que vamos a estar teniendo sobre este método el miércoles 28 de octubre a las 11 de la mañana vía Zoom, y el viernes 30 de octubre a las 4 de la tarde aquí en nuestra escuela con todo el protocolo de medidas sanitarias. Y ustedes se pueden inscribir a través de mi número de WhatsApp 2287 54 33 93 o a través de nuestras redes sociales de Centro de Educación Artística Yatsari. Y bueno, vamos a despedir a Hanne. Thank you, Hanne, for your time. And
yes, you're welcome. And Anna, what I just wanted to add is that the parents know that if it is a live class, a physical live class in your center, or if it is an online class, all our classes, Children Are Composers, are active. So your child is not sitting in front of a screen listening to you. It is really an active class where they will do things. So that is also something I would like to make clear, because many online classes are a little bit boring, and you have to sit still in front of a screen and just maybe write something down. But you will see that it is all active. If it is physical or online, the whole methodology is an active, playful, creative method. So yeah, I wish you all the best, Anna. I hope you will have a lot of children in your classes and let them shine and let them grow, because that's what we would like, that's what we love to do.
Thank you, Hanne. Bueno, ella nos dice que los padres sepan que las clases de Children Art Composers sean en línea o presenciales aquí en Yatsari no son para nada aburridas, sino que son activas y que los niños van a estar muy contentos, ¿no? En la clase, no solo viendo la transmisión, sino estando participando en las actividades y aprendiendo a través de ellas, ¿no? Ok, thank you, Hanne.
Okay.
You are
I
the
wish you all the
best.
best. Okay. See you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye. Bueno, amigos, así nos despedimos de esta transmisión. Espero que les haya gustado mucho de haber conocido el método de Children Art Composers. Pueden acercarse con nosotros en Centro de Educación Artística Yatsari para saber más de este método y para apartar su clase muestra gratuita. Los esperamos. Adiós.